I've been paying special interest to Hong Kong racing because it's just like I pay interest to all racing around the world, really, but especially Hong Kong because that's where our South Africans are and the racing is good. And yeah, you've had some success recently, and your most recent winner was a horse called Our Creed. And then a horse called Smiling Time, which you tell me was bred in South Africa, was by Oratorio. And then another horse called Here Comes Ted. So the winners, thank goodness, have been coming through thick and fast, which is just wonderful.
Yeah, it's gone okay so far. It's been a little bit frustrating with a lot of seconds, but hopefully can convert those into winners and we'll be going good again. It was a little bit quiet for a while, but it looks like the quality of rides has started to pick up again. So that's always a positive. And I think as long as the quality improves, so are the winners.
Welcome to another edition of In the Box Seat podcast. I'm flying solo today, and I'm flying solo with a very good friend and just a wonderful human being across the shores out in Hong Kong. His name is Luke Ferraris. We'll introduce him and welcome him in a moment. But before we go any further, we just want to wish Andrew Harrison, who is my regular co-host, a speedy recovery. He's a little unwell at the moment. But having a word with him on the phone this morning, en route to recording the podcast, he seems to be far better. He is going through to the doctor at 10 o'clock to go and have some more checkups, and I'm sure he'll be back with us next Thursday. So to Andrew Harrison, although we give you a hard time, we miss you, we love you, and we wish you a speedy recovery. It gives me great pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome, as I said, good friend and South African who's plying his trade so beautifully in Hong Kong, Luke Ferraris. Luke, how are you this morning?
Hi, Warren. Yeah, thanks for having me. All good so far this side. Can't complain.
Yeah, lovely to see you. And technology is a wonderful thing. And yeah, we obviously all talk via WhatsApp, etc. But lovely to see you. And you're looking healthy and good, thank God.
Thank you. Yeah. I don't know about healthy. Trying to get down to a fairly light weight for tomorrow. So
okay.
Probably could look a bit healthier.
Okay, let's talk about a couple of things. I'm not going to keep you too long, but there's a few things I want to chat about. First of all, when we were hooking up and getting the signal going and the pictures ready, it's no secret that the team at Clifton Stud are your family, and every time we go there, we see the wonderful dogs and horses. But I saw there was a lovely dog that walked past you in the background there. You've been an animal lover. Your whole family have been animal lovers, and nice to see that you've got a companion with you at home in Hong Kong.
Yeah, well, Murphy's another rescue.
Okay.
It's been picked up. So he's now part of the family.
Okay, fantastic. Now, well, that's good. Yeah, dogs are certainly part of our lives. Let's talk about your results recently. And I've been paying special interest to Hong Kong racing because it's just like I pay interest to all racing around the world, really, but especially Hong Kong because that's where our South Africans are and the racing is good. And yeah, you've had some success recently, and your most recent winner was a horse called Our Creed. And then a horse called Smiling Time, which you tell me was bred in South Africa, was by Oratorio. And then another horse called Here Comes Ted. So the winners, thank goodness, have been coming through thick and fast, which is just wonderful.
Yeah, it's gone okay so far. It's been a little bit frustrating with a lot of seconds, but hopefully can convert those into winners and we'll be going good again. It was a little bit quiet for a while, but it looks like the quality of rides has started to pick up again. So that's always a positive. And I think as long as the quality improves, so are the winners.
The crowds are there by the thousands. We see that every time we watch Hong Kong racing, and it's lovely to see the jockeys and the racing people interact a lot with the crowd. I mean, you see some lovely footage and photographs of the jocks taking their horses up to the rail where the crowds are literally hanging over and putting their hands out to touch the horse or to touch the jockey or to give you a high five. I mean, that must make the vibe even extra special.
Yeah, it does. Happy Valley is quite unique for that. You sort of, the crowd's right on the course with you. So when you do have a winner, it's always fun to go up and say hello. The crowd also love it. When you go up there, it's always a loud roar, and it's also good for racing, I think, to have that interaction with the crowd. It makes it unique for them, and also it's also unique for us. It always adds the atmosphere, especially coming out of a time like COVID in Hong Kong where everything was really shut down.
Yes.
For a long time. It's definitely made the racing more exciting than it is exciting already as it is here, but definitely adds that sort of special feature.
Luke, it's both tracks are fairly tight. I've never ridden a horse before, so it's by no means trying to be clever, but having watched a lot of the races, it's a tight track, and we've been treated to some fantastic rides by most of the riders, but in particular, Ferraris, yourself, Lyle. I've been watching some racing, as I say, with great interest, and to see some fabulous rides. It's a tight, tricky track. You've got to go early. If you don't, I suppose maybe you don't have to go early, but sometimes there was a particular ride I was watching of Ferraris the other day. He was at the back of the field, couldn't run a place. He pulled the trigger early, was under pressure a long way out, and looped them and just sort of threw the kitchen sink at the horse, and it got up by an absolute nostril. And I've seen you do that. I've seen Lyle do that, and other jockeys, but I've obviously, focusing on the guys that I know. It's a tight track. It's a tricky track to ride, but I suppose once you get used to it, it's you could go around there blindfolded.
It's it's a very tactical track. There's a lot of factors that play into it. You've got to have sort of good gates at Happy Valley. That's a major factor that sort of helps a lot. But it's very tactical. I suppose that's what makes it so interesting and fun, is that Sharpton's a bit more forgiving, where if you're on the best horse, you're most likely going to pick them up wherever you are in the race, whether you're coming from off them or if you're up in the speed. Whereas Happy Valley, if a few things go wrong for the odds-on favourite, it's very easy to get beat. So maybe that's why, myself and I suppose I could use Lyle in this example, where we perhaps don't get the best ride at the moment. We're fairly new into the jurisdiction. But if you ride a clever race and a tactical race, you can beat the odds-on favourites. It's a little bit hard at Sharpton because it's a very sort of simple track. It's flat, not as tight as Happy Valley. I don't know if you can see it on the TV, but Happy Valley's got a really steep climb down the back straight. When you walk the track, you can actually see how significant it is.
Okay.
So it's got the big climb. From about the 1,000 to the I think 600 it is, and you got the sharp bends, and whichever position the rail is at. Where that A track you can hug the rail. The B track it kind of throws them out. So it's a very technical track. But once you get the hang of it, I mean, I thoroughly enjoy riding it. Maybe a bit more than Sharpton, just purely because I've had most of my winners at Happy Valley.
Yeah.
But it produces some great races with blanket finishes, and it's a very unique and thrilling track to ride at. You're surrounded by skyscrapers and big city lights, and you've got the great crowds in the beer garden, and it's a unique experience.
The beer garden, I'm sure, is a lovely place too to go and enjoy a nice cold beer. But you'll have to
I
wait.
haven't experienced that, but I'd like to.
Now you, yeah. So the results, well done. We're proud of you, and we're proud of all the South Africans. But we'll talk a bit more about other South Africans that are there that maybe are not in the jockey ranks. But you've just recently been back to home, South Africa, and a quick little pop out. You were down in Plet, I know, but to see the family. I'm sure you enjoyed your time here.
Oh, thoroughly. I managed to get a suspension at a beautiful time of the year for Plet in February, so it was a little bit bittersweet to get a suspension, but it was beautiful to be back home and see the family. It was also nice to have to make a sort of a little break out of it, and get away from the racing and sort of just give yourself a break. I think that is pretty important, especially in a place like Hong Kong where they consider it a pressure cooker. It's nice to get a bit of a break and freshen up.
Yeah, and of course, you just went to Plet. I mean, weren't able to get up to Clifton or to KwaZulu-Natal and to Cape Town. You were just sort of in and out to Plet. Is that right?
Yes, yeah.
Tell me about. I know that there's a lot of South Africans across there at the moment, but we know the South African riders. But there's a lot of other South Africans that have got other jobs. Is that correct in the Hong Kong area?
Yeah, so our physio that we have here at the course, that's you can see him on 6-7 days a week if you want. He also works on race days with us. So if you've got a break between races, you can go see him. His name's Chris Camper. He's from South Africa as well. So there are a few. I know there definitely are a lot more than I know of. We kind of out here at Sharton, away from the sort of big sort of city central, so we don't really get to see many other people. But I definitely know there are more out here.
There's two race commentators, two race callers. Is that right? Tom Woods and there's another chap. Is that right?
Tom Wood and Mark McNara.
That's right. Now, every part of racing, whether you're a good trainer, whether you're a good race commentator, whether you're a good rider, a good vet, whatever it is, we enjoy them. Do you know these two guys? Because if you do, please convey our congratulations from South Africa, because we hang on their every word, and they're just wonderful race callers, and I'm sure you must know them, and I'm sure they're wonderful human beings too.
Yeah, no, I do. We're pretty friendly. Yeah, but like you said, they're great callers. They're world class. Which is why they're here. But I definitely think it's important to have a good commentator. It does sort of liven up the race a lot. Gets the public on their toes, and makes it a lot more exciting when they're really engaged as much as they are. It makes it a lot more fun to watch and listen to.
You were talking about your weight. You said you got a bit of a light one tomorrow, but obviously, you're always maintaining your weight. You're always keeping track of things, and you're very responsible with that. And that's obviously why you're hugely successful. But tell us about tomorrow's ride and what's the weight, and what are you doing in the lead up to the race? Just sort of relaxing, keeping calm, and just getting that weight down. How's that going?
Well, the problem. So not the problem, but the difference between South Africa and Hong Kong in terms of weight, which makes it a bit difficult, is we only race twice a week, so it can slip away from you really fast. Which happened to me when I initially got here. But I've started to get a handle back on it now, and it's starting to come under control. It's a class 2 event, sorry. So they're good horses. It is the horses lead up to the Derby, which is happening next week, Sunday, the 19th. So it's I say a pretty good ride. He's obviously running the Derby, so he's a classy horse. It is a 1400, so it's probably a bit sharp for him, but it'll be a good lead up to the race.
Luke, this is by no means a tipping show. It's just an information show. It's a catch up show. It's a news show. But how many rides have you got tomorrow? Because I'm sure that this will go out before racing takes place tomorrow. I'm sure that the team post this before. And as I said, it's by no means a tipping show. But for those that follow you and South Africans, one or two of your rides that have got chances or that you're hoping will run well, as I say, it's by no means a show where we're looking for this can't lose, and this is a good thing because we know that's why they have the races, is to find out who the winner is. But one or two rides that the South Africans can maybe cheer you home on.
I've got 7 tomorrow.
Okay.
They got tricky draws, a lot of them. So it all depend on the run they get in transit.
Okay. But you're out there trying your best, obviously, and we'll just follow all 7 with great interest, and hopefully you can bring 1 or maybe even 2 home.
Yeah, we get big blanket finishes here, so it's pretty tough, but we'll be trying our best.
Yeah, you talk about big blanket finishes, and you're quite right, because often I'll look at the field and I'll look at the form and I'll look at the prices of the horses, and you look at the finish. And there's 4, 5, 6 of them, stretched across the line. And you look at the price of the horse that's put its nose down. It's a 16-1 shot that gets up to beat the odds-on favorite, and it can happen, and the odds-on favorite gets beat by an absolute whisker. But that is, as you say, the nature of the track, the nature of the race, and that serves up these tight, exciting, thrilling finishes where literally you're in the race, you've got a ticket, you've got a chance. If you've got luck in transit, you can win.
Exactly that. I mean, Hong Kong's the toughest handicap place in the world. Their handicapping is very good. As a result, sure, you might finish up at the top 5 and you've got beat half a length. So it is one of the toughest places where every inch counts. But they do a fantastic job.
Well, I'm just checking my notes to see that I haven't left anything out. The next segment of our show is the news section, which I'm not going to keep you on the line for, because you certainly don't want to be bored to tears with the news that I'm going to share. But that's just a joke, because there's some interesting news parts. But I want to ask you a last question, is that your grandfather's book. So you might say, well, I don't need to read the book. I've been with him in his life's journey for many of the years. But have you looked at the book? Have you read the book? And because I'm busy going through it, and it's just an outstanding story.
I'll be honest, I haven't actually seen the book. I actually got to ask Granddad to send me a copy, because he hasn't sent me one. He sent everyone else one except me.
Well, make sure he doesn't charge you, hey?
Well, that's what I'm worried about. I think if I ask him, he's going to put a price on it for me. No, but I've heard good things. I know Lyle's, he's received one. He's read it. He says it's fantastic. So I should get one and start having a look at it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been with the walking encyclopedia for the for the past week. A couple of weeks ago, but no, I am very excited to read it.
Yeah, no, it isn't. I don't normally read books. The only books I read are the race books. But this story, as I said, I'm halfway through it. It's outstanding. And obviously, you saw him when you were in Plet, and in good spirits, and Granddad's all good.
Yeah, no, he's in great spirits. He doesn't miss a thing now with Hong Kong racing. He still watches me like a hawk, which is good. But no, he's very happy. He's down in Plet with Mom and Dad now. And, he's very happy there.
What is the little dog behind you? He's eating he's eating your shoe, or he's eating something.
He's ripping up his bed.
Oh, is that what he's doing? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know where he thinks he's going to sleep tonight, but he's going to find out later.
Luke, well, thank you for your time. As I said, we didn't want to keep you for too long, especially if you've got a bit of a light one tomorrow. sure you want to put your feet up and do whatever you've got to do to get your weight down. But yeah, it's lovely to catch up with our friends and the South Africans, and just to see how everybody's doing, and just to wish you, I know you always like to achieve at the very highest level, and sometimes you may be a little hard on yourself, and you say the better rides could come, etc., and they will, and you've had good rides, but you've had winners, and from South Africa, we're very proud of you, and we're proud of that. And please send our love and best wishes to everybody over there. And yeah, just all the best to you. Thank you for your time. We just basically wanted to touch base with you and share your update with the South Africans and those that watch this production from around the world. So thank you, and all the best, and keep safe, keep healthy, and keep firing up those winners, brother.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me. It was great.
No, lovely. I'm going to ask my colleague to cut this Zoom call because he knows where all the right buttons are. But Luke, we'll end this conversation. I'm going to carry on with the news segment. And lovely to touch base with you, and we'll be in touch soon.
100%. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Luke. Cheers, brother. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing firstly, technology is just so fantastic that touch of a button, and there he is, Luke Ferraris, in his apartment in Hong Kong, giving us an update. And here I am at Hollywood Bets Greyville. Technology is just a wonderful, wonderful thing. He looks well, does Luke. He looks in a good space and speaks beautifully, and just a champion all round, and an absolute asset to the industry. And certainly each and every member of the Ferraris family, and believe me, there's a lot of them, they certainly can be proud of him and his achievements. Okay, let's just touch on a few things. As I said, Andrew, more about Alistair just now, but Andrew Harrison, is a little unwell. Get better, Andrew, and I'm sure that you'll be back in the hot seat with us next Thursday. Just to touch on the different bet types, as always, and to our sponsors, we thank the sponsors, Score 6 and Score 10 soccer bets. There's, of course, Card Call. That's the shirt I'm wearing today, the Card Call shirt. Thank you to Tab Gold and Card Call for their support and their sponsorship. Every hour there's a Card Call, a draw that gets done. And then, of course, there's Greyhound Racing as well. Plenty of Greyhound Racing. Tough, though. I tried the other day to have a few bets in the Greyhound Racing. Successful, but not as successful as I'd like to have been. But it's very exciting, is the Greyhound Racing. So get your Greyhound bets on as well. And don't forget that there's that QR code that the team have posted up before, and that they will continue to post up. You need to scan that QR code. It'll take you through to the website. You can open an account. You can follow Tab Gold and Gold Circle, and it just gets you into the fantastic network. Talking of Alistair Cohen a few moments ago, he, of course, is another South African that was plying his trade overseas in Dubai. He's treated us to some thrilling commentaries, and he's back in South Africa. You would have seen, for those that follow him on his social media posts, he arrived back in South Africa last night. We welcome him back to South Africa with open arms. We thank him for all that he did for us as a country in Dubai, but he's back on home shores, and we look forward to hearing and definitely seeing Alistair in the very near future. So a big shout out and a big welcome back to Alistair Cohen. Then a shout out and a thank you to Preggyson Sundram, who's one of South Africa's owners, and quite a large owner. Any owner in the game is a good owner, whether you're a 1% shareholder, a 5% shareholder, or 100% shareholder. We appreciate every owner in this country. We appreciate everybody in this game. Because we need everyone. We need the jockeys, we need the trainers, we need the breeders, we need the punters, we need the presenters, we need the admin staff, we need absolutely everybody. But in this instance, I'm talking about Preggyson Sundram, who's an owner. Packets and packets of delicious food was sent to the TV and presenting team at the last race meeting from Truckers and Spears. So thank you to Preggy for breaking our diet. But jokes aside, thank you to Preggy for always thinking of us and sending us some delicious Truckers, burgers, and Spears chicken. It was most enjoyed by the entire team, and we thank you for that. Of course, it's now inching closer to champion season. KZN, South Africa's champion season, that will take place here in KwaZulu-Natal, Hollywood Bets Greyville and Hollywood Bets Scottsville. There's already a couple of truckloads of horses that have arrived from the Glen Cotson stable. You would have seen on the Gold Circle social media pages the announcement of the arrival, which horses they are. And it's now time to gear up for SA's champion season here in KwaZulu-Natal. And to all the visitors that have arrived already, and for the many that are still to arrive, we'll be there to welcome you, and we welcome you here to enjoy this wonderful, wonderful winter season in this province. You would have seen at the recent race meeting we paid tribute to Gavin Van Zyl, who's retired as a trainer. You know that Dennis Dry is retired as a trainer. We'll pay tribute to him as well when he gets back into the province. But he is retiring into Cape Town, but he's coming home first to tie up a few things and hand over the reins to Stuart Ferry. So Gavin Van Zyl, it was wonderful to interview him the other day in the studio, and we wish him again all the very best. To all the trainers that have retired, thank you for all your love and support of the industry for so many years. Just to wrap up the program of racing, we are recording today. We're a day late. We didn't record on Thursday. We're recording today, Friday morning early, but I'm sure there won't be much editing that needs doing for this podcast, so the team will get this out as quick as possible. We race Friday afternoon in Gqeberha, Fairview Racecourse. And then tomorrow, Saturday, we are at Turffontein in Gauteng. You've heard that the team in Hong Kong race, you've heard what Luke had to say about his rides. You need duck and transit, hard to sort of label, which is of his very best, but he said 6 or 7 rides that he'll be going out there doing his level best to get them past the line in first. So we'll follow him and the other South African riders with great interest. But it's Turffontein locally tomorrow. And then we have a double whammy, a double festival, a double excitement. I love double meetings in KwaZulu-Natal. We're on Sunday at Hollywood Bets Greyville, and then we follow that up on Monday with Hollywood Bets Greyville. So that's 2 KZN meetings, and then Tuesday we're at Hollywood Bets Durbanville. So that's just the next couple of days racing diary for what's happening locally. There is not much more I can add to the podcast. Next week, hopefully Andrew will be back, and it's just been fantastic to touch base with Luke and just to see how he's doing. And over the next couple of weeks, I'm sure that Tawanda and his team will get us a few more interviews on Zoom to find out how these guys and girls are doing overseas. But that's a wrap from me. Enjoy your weekend. Please be safe. And there's a bit of a nasty strand of flu, I believe, that's going around. Chatting to a couple of people that have been caught by this nasty flu. So try and stay healthy, try and stay safe, and just as always, love one another and respect one another. And punt well from Warren Lenferner, who's flying solo today. We wish you all the very best. We thank you for your continued support. And as always, we'll see you. You know where we'll see you by now. We'll see you in the number 1 box. Thank you for watching this week's episode of In the Box Seat podcast right until the very end. And we hope that you enjoyed it, because we certainly did. If you missed last week's podcast, In the Box Seat podcast with Andrew and myself, please go and watch it here. And last week's episode will be right there for you to go and enjoy and watch, as we know you will certainly enjoy In the Box Seat podcast from last week.